I was listening to the story about, it was a story of a family in Washington, and the little boy called the Bigfoot the cowboy man. And he had, apparently it had made an effort to steal this kid. And it hit me. My children were in that playpen behind me with nothing but a mosquito net over them. It could have crept up behind me and taken both of my children, and I wouldn't have known.
Father just got like a Mustang or something from Wyoming, okay? He had it out in the corral because he couldn't put it in the barn in the stalls with the other horses. It would kick and made all the other horses nervous. Had a Seminole Indian working the horse, trying to break it every day. So they had it out in the corral. This skunk ape snuck up behind this horse and grabbed it on its hind quarters. This particular horse kicks out, jumps over the corral, runs into the pasture, to get away. At this point, the rancher's out there just blasted away with the dirty. Skunk ape runs into the swamp.
I went up there one day after that, or 2 days after that. I went up there and sat in the silence up there, and I'm telling you, man, it was free. It was crazy. There was a crazy vibe up there still. I did what I could to kind of get things under control, but I told her, I said, you need to get off this property. I feel like no matter how strong you are, it's almost like standing in the ocean. You can't stand still without moving your feet. You're going to get knocked over eventually, no matter how strong, whatever. You can't withstand a barrage of weird spiritual energy.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Paranormal Odyssey. I'm your host, Wayne, joined as always by my partner in crime, good friend, Miss Tiffany. How you doing, ma'am?
I'm excited. I'm good, and I'm excited. And we've had a very long day.
Why are you excited?
Because of our guest. I'm so excited for our guest. Like, heart palpitations. I'm just ready to let him talk.
I get it. Yeah, it's my first time. Well, I guess both of our first time meeting him backstage. Seems like a really cool dude. Got a chance to watch a little bit of some of his documentary today. I'm definitely going to finish it, but Scarlett was not allowing me to do so today. So
them three-nagers.
Yeah, them three-nagers. I don't know if you guys can tell by my voice or not, but I'm a little under the weather. I'm sick. I got some kind of cold going on, something. I don't know. But Wayne at 80% is better than most at 100.
That's right.
So here we go.
Yeah, here we go.
I do feel like doo-doo, though.
We're just going to preface this. Wayne feels like caca.
Yeah. Like a big old poop sandwich.
Well, you don't look like a poopy sandwich.
Yeah, well, thank you.
You better take what you can get, pal.
I'm hiding it well, I guess. All right, let's pay these bills.
Let's do it.
All right, if you were new to the show tonight, let me do this one up there. If you're new to the show tonight, we are glad to have you. But before you leave, please hit that subscribe button. We would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Help Tiffany and myself continue to keep the show going in the right direction.
And if you would like to be on with Wayne and I, you can reach out to both of us, Wayne at paranormalworldproductions.com. or me, Tiffany at paranormalworldproductions.com. And as I said last show, we only have 3 spots open for August. So tell your mom and them they need to get in where they fit in.
That's right. While you're online, head over to paranormalworldproductions.com. Check out our website. Check out all the other shows under the studio's umbrella. Make sure you sign up for the Bigfoot newsletter that Brian does and Miss Tiffany does. Now she's a newsletter author to add to her resume, I suppose. Yeah, you can't do any of that unless you head over to paranormalworldproductions.com.
And if you have any questions for this evening's guest, which I'm sure you all have been clamoring and building it up over the weeks, just put them in all capital letters. We highlight them and save them to the end of the show. So in the last 10 minutes or so, we do this rapid fire question answer session. Just put them in all capital letters, please.
Yep. All right. One last thing, guys. We have our membership still open. $1.99 a month makes you a PO freak. You get extra content. We do extra live shows that are just for the members. We have a members only Discord. We hang out over there and try to do some pretty cool stuff. Got more stuff coming soon. Yeah, if you are interested, we would love to have you. It's just $1.99 a month. I feel like I sound just terrible.
I want to know what Wendell means by this. Who's keeping Tiffany going in the right direction? Jesus, Wendell. Jesus. Because without him, I am sideways.
That's a good answer. I like that.
That is.
All right. Tell everybody a little bit about our guest tonight, please.
Well, I had to write it down because there's more than a little bit.
And I'm going to be showing some pictures while you're doing that.
Okay. Yeah, there's one picture in here. It is my absolute favorite. It is him and the wolf.
Okay. We'll get
So, Jason Kinsey is a filmmaker, a documentarian, an animal photojournalist. He is an author. He has 4 children's books, and he also has a Bigfoot, or an everything we know about Bigfoot. He's a director and a producer, and he has a series on Tubi of searching for Sasquatch and paranormal adventures. And the list goes on. And he wrangles ostriches. I can't even.
He was telling us that ostrich story, and I told him, you're telling it now, but you're going to have to tell it again
For
when
sure.
you come back out.
Did you ever hear about what happened? Look at the bees.
Yeah,
they're honeybees, but boy, it wouldn't be me.
He got stung at least once.
Oh, yeah. And I'm so glad that they put tissue up his nose so the bees didn't go in there.
I didn't even think about that. That's smart.
That would suck.
That would suck.
Yes.
Here's his children's books.
And those are all on Amazon.
I
went on there and found them.
Very cool.
Yes, it's just a lot of good stuff.
He's a busy man.
He's busy. He is busy. Travels all, before, I almost told his story. I know his story. I can't tell his story. But before this happened, he'll tell us. But yeah, it's really cool.
Yes, it is.
The memories he's made, it's just the things he's seen.
Yeah. And he didn't start out as a Bigfoot cryptid guy. He's going to come on and tell you how he got his start. Dude's led a pretty cool life, in my opinion.
Yes, and I sent Miss Naoma all the links for his pages. She's putting them in the chat right now as we speak. Anything else you want to know, Google Jason Kinsey and it'll all come up.
All right. All of that out of the way. Without further ado, let's bring Mr. Jason Kinsey out. Jason, what's up, buddy?
Hey, how's it going?
Hi.
Hey, it's so good to see you guys.
You too. So put a face. Well, I already had a face with a name, but we've been chatting over Messenger, so it's really cool to be able to talk to you this way too.
So nice to meet you guys. I want to say thank you so much for having me on.
Yes, it is a pleasure to have you on. We have some very excited people in the chat that you're here, and I always exude excitement. So
yeah, it is definitely our honor. Jason, thank you very, very much, buddy. If you don't mind, I want you to start at the beginning. We were talking before you came on. You didn't start out in the Bigfoot cryptid world.
No.
How did you get your start, and just what led you down this field?
Well, I first started out as a wedding and event photographer, and I did that for many years. Then one day, a guy walked up to me and said, "Hey, will you take a photo of my dog?" And I took a step back, and I'm like, "Of your dog?" So with you and your dog? No, just my dog. And I'm like, okay, so you're going to pay me to take pictures of your dog? Because at the time I had no idea people like getting pictures of their dogs. So he's like, yeah. So I met up with him. The photo shoot went amazing. And he told me some stories about his little dog that really touched me. And from there, he loved the pictures so much, he told his friends. So then his friends were contacting me, and I started doing dog photography, and then, cat photography, and then snake photography. And then one day, a guy came to me. Well, actually, he called me up. He said, "Hey, I have a caiman as a pet, and I have an aquarium downstairs in my basement, and I would like to hire you to come and take photos of him." And a caiman is something similar to a crocodile, but this one was only 3.5 feet long. So I told my friends, guess what? This guy has a caiman, and he wants me to photograph it. And my friends are like, "Why would someone have a caiman? Why?" Well, I was like, "No, honestly, I'm not lying." So I went out and purchased a video camera, and I was determined to go and film the photo shoot. And I did, and it was amazing. I almost got my nose bit off a couple times, but you know what? I got so close to the thing; it was like that close. And he loved. For one thing, he didn't want his face on the video, and he was such a nice guy. He said, "Listen, you can take photos and videos of my caiman, but if I think for 1 second that I have been caught on film, I'm going to have to destroy your camera." And I'm like, "Oh, no problem." So, he loved the photos so much that he had all these friends with exotic animals. And then I started going and photographing and filming other exotic animals. A lady with 5 wolves.
So, Jason, let me just ask you real quick. The reason this gentleman didn't want his face on camera is because he owned a caiman, or was he like some cartel leader? I mean,
well, yes and no. I really can't say exactly because, it actually went south pretty fast a couple of years ago while watching the news. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
But yeah, I can't really say much about
I got
him
you.
here in Vancouver. So anyway, so I started flying all over like North America. I was photographing people with tigers, with bears, a lady with 5 wolves, kangaroos, monkeys, you name it, and everything in between. There was a guy that hired me to photograph 2 10-foot alligators. So I did ride an ostrich, and they had an ostrich farm, and so I went and I photographed their ostriches. And in the middle of the shoot, I looked at the guy and said, "Hey, can I jump on the back of this?" And he looked at me. He's like, "Really? Oh, well, I guess if you can do it." "Oh, I'll do it," I said. It took me about 3 tries to try and get onto this 2 different ostriches, and finally, I just I climbed onto the back of the truck, and I had to pretend. I don't know, these ostriches, even though they seem dumb, I had to be like, and then boom, right on top, and then I just went for it. And they can go 60. I think they go 45 miles an hour. And so it picked up to probably about, I don't know, 15 kilometers an hour, maybe 20 kilometers. I didn't really look at the watch as I was riding it. And then finally I jumped and I fell off, jumped off, if that makes sense. And I tucked and rolled. And that was my ride in the ostrich. It was so much fun.
Yeah. Now you were talking a little bit of how ostriches kind of defend them, or how they fight, not really defend themselves.
So a lot of people, so ostriches will peck at you, and they'll just be like, I'm trying to do the shoot, and I'm being picked at by all these ostriches, and it doesn't really hurt. It's more annoying than anything. And the dangerous part is they'll use their talons, like their feet, the claws. They'll jump up with their feet and they'll try and gouge out your stomach. And so here I'm in the back of the truck, and one of the guys, the owner goes, Jay, look, there's an egg. And the eggs, one ostrich egg is 24 chicken eggs.
Holy
So,
shit.
so I was like, okay. So I jump out of the back of the truck and I'm going running. And the ostrich, the mother comes running towards me and I dive and I grab the egg and I'm running around and I'm like, and the ostrich is chasing after me. And I'm going back and forth and I'm running around the ostrich and I run to the truck and I'm like, I grab the back of the truck and I'm like, go, go, go. And the ostrich is pecking the heck out of me. And finally I got the egg and man, it was delicious.
Really?
Oh yeah. I actually was able to get about 5 ostrich eggs and I was only able to eat 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's like 48 eggs.
Yeah, there's a lot of eggs. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I didn't eat them all in one sitting.
I got you. Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be sick.
That's
Interesting.
amazing.
Ostriches have red. They're red meat.
Really?
Yep, they're red meat.
Do they taste like chicken?
No, they actually don't. They almost taste. They're very meaty, like very.
Like
I don't want to say cow, but they like gamey. Like they definitely do not taste like chicken because chicken, they have white meat. And with ostriches, you don't just, how chicken, you can kind of pull it off in strips.
Yeah.
Now, ostriches are not like that.
Really?
You can't go, go ahead. Just walk up to an ostrich and say, hey, excuse me, let me just pull your.
No.
What you get?
See, I thought it was funny and I laughed because many, many years ago, when my husband and I first got together, we have in Virginia the safari park. And at the time we had this orange pickup truck and his mom's driving it and we're in the back and he catches the attention of this ostrich, right? And you know how they'll like side eye you or, they just look mad anyways. So he's like, you want a piece of me? You want a piece of me? He's bucking at this ostrich. Jason, this ostrich ran after the truck trying to get him.
It probably kept up to the truck too.
Yes.
They're pretty fast.
Yeah.
So with all these exotic animal photo shoots I've done, I turn them into a web series called Jason Kenzie's Animal Adventures. And they're like small, they're like anywhere between 5 to 15, just under 20-minute documentaries of behind the scenes of my animal photo shoots. And you can find them all on YouTube. You just put in Jason Kenzie's Animal Adventures and you'll find them all. There's lots. You'll see all the fun I have trying to wrangle, a lady with a pet bobcat. Have you ever seen what happens if you give a bobcat a piece of chicken? No. I swear they turn into like Satan. Like they just
give it to me.
Yeah, exactly. They'll like grab it and protect it, and they growl and they look mean.
So, Jason, it sounds like you've had an awesome life. I mean, this is a career that most men would kill for. I know I certainly would love to have the opportunities that you have had. How did you go from doing this awesome, going and photoing exotic animals to going out in the woods and searching for an animal that might not exist?
Yeah. So growing up, I've always heard about Sasquatch. I was always like, because I live in Vancouver and I live only about an hour and 20 minutes away from Harrison Hot Springs. And so we always hear about it. I've camped so much in these forests as a teenager. And so a few years ago when COVID hit, everything got shut down, as we know. And I wasn't able to do any more animal adventures. Everything shut down and I'm pacing myself wondering, what am I going to do? And then someone kind of joked with me and said, hey, why don't you just do something on Sasquatch? Because he might be an animal. And I'm like, we all laughed. And I'm like, actually, you might have a point. That was my buddy Paul that said that to me. And I decided, okay, well, I'm going to go and talk to someone that said they saw one of these creatures. And I decided to bring a video camera. And from there, the story was so amazing that they sent me to another person and they told me their story. And then in turn, they pointed me to the First Nations people that live out in this area of Headley. And I went and talked to them, and the stories they had were incredible. And in turn, they sent me way off into the forest to an area where they believe the Sasquatch people live.
Wow.
And I was filming the whole thing. And then I hiked up to a lake in the middle of the mountains. And I found, and in the middle of this lake, there were hundreds of these giant footprints that would go right through the lake. And I had a drone. So I was droning it, and you could see, I'm looking at it on the drone going, what the, and standing on the shore, just looking, and the lake wasn't that big. The lake was, I don't know, it was probably about half a mile across by a mile, lengthwise. And you could see the footprints. But I also found trees, about 5 trees that were ripped out of the ground, turned upside down, and jammed into the ground. I've seen other footprints in the mud. And there so I took the footage of the footprints and I took it to the First Nations people. And they told me I had found the migration path of the Sasquatch people from Alaska down to California. So then I went and put this into my first documentary, and it just blew up. And then from there, Bigfoot researchers were contacting me asking if I would, they could fly me out to go and go out with them, and they would show me where these Bigfoot people were, and then I would go and interview people, and so I started doing, and I'm up to 14 Bigfoot documentaries right now, and I just got back a couple weeks ago from traveling to 5 different locations in the States. And I filmed 5 Bigfoot documentaries. Actually, I filmed 4 Bigfoot documentaries and two paranormal documentaries. And that's what I've been doing. It's been a lot of fun. I've met some amazing people. I've seen some crazy stuff in the forest, stuff that you would probably not make you probably wouldn't want to sleep, at least for days. Things that would just terrify you.
Can you give us an example?
So I was in Michigan, and there was an area where we went into, and literally as soon as we walked through the forest, and we were told that the Bigfoot people lived there in this area. And as we walk in, crash right next to me. And I had my camera in my hand, and it just crashed and ran through the forest. And I just caught the glimpse of it. The trees went in and out, and I just saw the black of the back of whatever it was, and I chased after it. And as it was running, it didn't give a damn about the tree limbs. It was just crashing through and breaking them. And as it's stepping on logs, it's just breaking logs as it's running. And I wasn't able to catch up to it. And then I went back to everyone. There was about 5 of us. And then we started seeing peekers, eye shine, like looking at us. And I'm trying to film this with my camera, but they're just out of sight, like just out of the infrared beam. But we could see it with our eyes. So we start walking towards the area, and we could hear them running away. And then at one point, I told everyone, okay, let's sit down. We'll turn all the lights off, and we're just going to listen. So here we are sitting in the dark. And I'm like, and about maybe 8 minutes later, my ADHD just got the best of me. So I got up and I whispered, I'm just going to take a little walk over here. And I start walking. I walked about 25, 30 feet away from everyone. And as I came around some bushes, boom, 25 feet in front of me, maybe even 20 feet in front of me was this thing. I saw the eye shine was just staring at me. And I had my video camera rolling, but it wasn't recording. And as soon I'm looking at it and I hit the button, the record button, and there's a half-second delay. And within that half-second delay, it had dropped to the ground and was looking at me from behind the tree, behind these bushes, and you could clearly see the eye shine. And I'm like standing there just staring like a deer in headlights, hoping that I'm like thinking, my gosh, if this is a young Bigfoot, because it was about 7 feet off the like high, I'm like, the parents are just going to come from behind me and just whack me. So I'm standing here filming and I'm kind of shaking. And then finally I went, psst, psst, and I called a couple of the other researchers. And as I came walking over, it turned and it ran through the forest. And so, yeah, that was one time. We looked for footprints, couldn't find. I can't sit here and tell you that it was a Bigfoot because it was dark. I could see just the eye shine. But I saw something that looked like a giant spider. It dropped to the ground and it just went right over the trail. And I remember the eyes shine just stared at me the whole time. And I was about 20 feet from it. And it was nighttime and it just went across, went boom, boom, boom into the forest. And I'm trying to look at it going, is that a cougar? A wolf? Like I'm looking, trying to get a close, but my video camera was facing me because I was talking on camera about all the eye shine that I was seeing behind us. And I turned the camera and it was already gone. But when I came back to talk on camera, what I didn't see until 2 months later when I was in front of the computer editing is it was standing behind me, probably about 5 feet behind me in the forest. And you see the eye shine looking at me over my shoulder.
Damn.
And so you can see this in Searching for Sasquatch 3 and 4. That was, 3 and 4. You can see that one. The one, that's the spider crawl one. The one where I came walking out, that one is number 6. Number 6 is the eye shine, the thing that was staring at me behind the bushes.
Okay.
But I have that roar from Michigan, from Minnesota. That one is terrifying.
I'm glad that you brought that up, Jason, because I've got those here on my phone. I've got them queued up, and I'm going to play them. And I want you to give us the backstory to those, and just talk about those all you want.
Yeah.
So I'm going to play them one at a time. So when I get done with the second one, I'll let you know. Okay. Here's the first one. First one is a little bit shorter.
So I want to know. I want to know if everyone, if people could hear that. So anyone in the chat, could you hear that?
Let me know if y'all could hear that. Could you hear it, Tiffany?
Yeah, I could hear it like at the beginning, and then it kind of faded.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. So I'm wondering if other people heard that too. If they
I'm gonna try to cut my board up a little bit, and I will play that one again, and then I'll go directly into the second one. Was that better?
It was louder at the beginning.
Okay, well, let's just play the second one.
So I don't know if...
Let's just play the second one, see how it goes.
Yeah, people are saying no, they can't hear it.
Yeah, it's very faint. I tried to add it to our overlay section to be able to play it.
Well, it's still going, guys. Okay, could y'all not hear that? Because that was extremely loud for me.
Not extremely loud for us. I mean, you could hear it. You could hear the bassiness of it. You could hear like it coming from its toes.
So are you playing it right from your phone?
I'm playing it from my phone. Yeah, it's connected through my my soundboard, so it should be coming through good.
Yeah, maybe people in the chat, maybe they can hear it. Can't hear. Well,
It seems like most people are hearing it.
Are they? Okay, that's good.
I can hear it.
So anyway, this audio was captured by a First Nations person on the Red Lake Indian Band in Minnesota, and his house backed onto the for like thousands and thousands and thousands of acres of pristine forest, and he kept hearing these roars and these howls. So one night he decided he was going to record it. And when those came through, they were so close to him and they were so terrifying that he never went back into the forest again. In fact, I don't even know if he even left his house. He did not want to go on camera. He did not want his name put out there. He didn't want anyone knowing who he was because he was afraid that he would be ridiculed. And so the audio was given to the Sasquatchers, to Jen, and in turn they showed it to me. And when I heard that, I'm like, we have to go and investigate that area. So we did. We went to the area and we went in there, we investigated, we found lots of tree structures. We found lots of, we heard howls at the night. We caught eye shine of creatures just watching us and following us. That's the shocker right there. When people say, well, maybe it's a bear or maybe it's a deer. Well, I'm sorry, but they don't usually follow you. They don't. The human voice to an animal, a wild animal, means danger, right? So they usually run away. That's why they tell you to sing or make loud noises when you're walking or hiking in bear country or cougar country, because the human voice scares them off. So to capture something or some things, the eye shine following us through the forest as we're walking can be quite terrifying, because knowing a bit about animal body language and knowing how, what animals do, especially in the wild, it baffles me, right? I mean, I still can't say they were Bigfoots because I couldn't physically see it, but I just know that most wild animals run away. And me too. I run away too.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
I would too. Something growled like that.
Let me ask you real quick. It sounds like you've gone all over. You live in Canada. You've done this documentary you're just talking about, the Minnesota Roars in Minnesota. You just shared a very frightening story in Michigan. Sounds like you've been to quite a few places. Have you ever been to Tennessee?
No, I have not been to Tennessee. I was just in Pennsylvania and New York. I was in Kentucky. Kentucky was pretty interesting.
Kentucky's close.
Yeah. I've been Texas. Texas, same thing. There's a reason why I called the number 5 the Texas Screams, because Texas, we were surrounded by creatures screaming and roaring and howling at us all around us. It was crazy, and we're not talking for like a couple minutes. This went on for almost an hour.
Mm-hmm.
It literally, this is what was happening. There were so many howls and screams and everything going on that after it went on for so long that this is kind of what happened. So anyway, Todd, we're gonna cook up some hot dogs by the fire. Another howl. Okay, so anyway, Todd, about those wieners, that's exactly what happened. I swear, there was so much happening that we got kind of numb to all the howls because they kept going. And we even caught the coyotes howling too, which I loved. I loved. because when there's coyotes howling at the same time, or right after the other howl, you could totally tell the difference between coyotes, the howls from them, compared to how powerful the other ones are.
I've
Like
noticed
you
that
can
too.
almost feel it.
Yeah. I feel like there's a connection there. I don't know if others do or not. I don't know how you feel about that. I feel like anytime I've ever heard a Bigfoot or a believed Bigfoot scream, there's been coyote activity.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot I mean, some researchers believe that the Bigfoots follow the coyotes because it's almost like easy food. Sometimes it makes sense, kind
Yeah.
of, because the coyotes, they attack and kill something, and Bigfoot just has to run in and, get it.
Yeah.
Bear will follow moose, the mother moose.
And they'll follow gunshots too.
Yeah, they'll follow, and they will actually wait till the mother moose gives birth, and then they'll swoop in and take the baby. Grizzly bears will actually follow wolves on Vancouver Island, because the Vancouver wolves, they're the only species of wolves that actually fish for salmon. They actually will jump in, grab the salmon. They will actually bite off the head of the salmon, the brain, and then leave everything else. And then the grizzlies will come in, and they'll take the stomach, and then the eagles will come down afterwards and eat everything else. So, the theory about Bigfoot's following coyotes, isn't too far-fetched, right? It's almost easy food. I mean, for all we know, it could be the other way around. The coyotes follow the Sasquatch, because Sasquatch, they catch a deer, they rip it apart, eat what they have, and then lots left over. Who knows? I mean, I interviewed a guy who literally said he saw a wolf running beside a Bigfoot.
I've heard that with coyotes before.
Yeah. It's interesting. I get very close to whatever they are that's in the forest, but they just seem to just stay outside of the infrared beam on my infrared camera.
Do you think they sense that?
People kept telling me at the beginning they can see it, the infrared light. And I'm almost beginning to believe it too, because the stuff that I've seen and the way these creatures act from behind the trees. I mean, when I first started looking into Bigfoot, I was a 20% believer. And after, 14 documentaries, well, I want to say almost 19 documentaries, and all these expeditions I've been on and the stuff I've seen, I'm now up to 50% believer. And the reason why I'm not 100% is because I haven't had a daytime sighting. I need Sasquatch to walk up, slap me in the face, pick me up, carry me off. I can just see it now. Jay, it's got you. I know, they're fucking real. My God.
And then what are you going to do with
these new boots.
Yeah, and then what are you going to do with it? You're a Sasquatch baby daddy.
Exactly. I'm like, throw me the. Okay, well, I won't say that.
Let me ask you though, Jason, real quick. You said you've been to Kentucky. That wasn't the LBL, was it? The Land Between the Lakes?
No, but it's so funny. Everybody. So I got contacted by a group who asked me. They said, "Hey, we're going to the LBL, and we would like you to join us if you have time." And I'm like, LBL? I had to Google it. I'm like, what? And then and that was at the beginning of the summer. Since then, I've had so many people say, "Hey, you have to go to LBL, Land Between the Lakes. It's supposed to be pretty hot there." I'm like, I need a Bigfoot research team to want me to come out there and bring my camera gear and do like an amazing documentary out there in the wilderness of the Land Between the Lakes.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
mean, Troy's one of our viewers here. He's asked you a couple of questions we'll get to later, but Troy and I spent a couple of days in the LBL earlier this year, and it's the first time I had ever been. It's right on the border of Kentucky and Tennessee. Like half of
Yeah.
it's in Tennessee, the other half's in Kentucky.
So is it beautiful? Must be
It's
beautiful out there.
it's awesome, man. It's creepy. You get this weird feeling the whole time you're there. It's a place like none other. You need to go.
Is it swampy?
Yeah, there are places where it was swampy. It rained the whole damn
Oh,
time you were there. It was mud fest. It was terrible. But I mean, you and I will talk after this, Jason, because Brian, the host of Sasquatch Odyssey, and myself, the host of Paranormal Odyssey, and we together we host That Bigfoot podcast. We work closely together. We're talking about doing a documentary somewhere, and we've talked about the LBL being the place. So maybe we should talk and maybe put this together.
Yeah, if we all, take our camera gear and we all film, we
Yeah.
all get, it would be really cool if all like if all three of us did different documentaries on the exact same
That would be
same
cool.
trip,
And then like combine it all into one.
see how or even two different documentaries. Like I come out there, I do the filming, I take all you guys' footage, and then in turn I give you all my footage, and then you guys make a documentary, then I make a documentary, and then it's different angles, right? I think, and then see how everyone thinks.
That's
And then
really
what you see. I think that would be a great, and then we'll launch it all at the same time. Well, like, hey, we'll just promote the heck out of it. Well, I think that would be great. I don't think very many people have done that.
well,
Okay, so
we might as well put something
don't tell anybody. It's a good thing this is not live. Great. Okay, there is 25 people in the live. We have to all hunt you down. Okay, sorry about that.
I got it. I mean, we're the Men in Black now. Just look
Yeah.
at
we'll delete it. Don't worry about it. No, but you could be onto something, man. That's a good idea. Definitely. Let's talk off the air.
Yeah, that'll be great. That way no one else can listen. Right, guys? Yeah, we're looking at you, all you guys. Love all you guys.
So,
awesome.
Of all the places you've been, Jason, where would you say creeped you out the most? And let's go paranormal with it, because we've been talking about Bigfoot, but you also do paranormal stuff, like ghost stuff, right?
Yeah.
Where have you been that creeps you out the most?
Okay. Well, we were in a really creepy place in Pennsylvania. We're literally on the border of New York and Pennsylvania. And we're at this giant park. Well, when I say park, it's more of a, thousands of acres of forest and mountains and whatnot. It's just crazy. And we met up with a local who had an encounter, a first-hand encounter. He was hunting, and he turned around, he looked down, and he saw this Bigfoot walking away from him. And he said he was so terrified he didn't go back into the forest for at least a year. And finally, he decided to. So when he told me the story, he said, I'll take you to the place. So we went to the place where he saw it, and then we went into the forest. And there was about 5 or 6 of us, and we're all going through the forest. And then I had a flashlight, so I'm shining a flashlight like this, and I suddenly my light catches something with eye shine, a creature with eye shine. And think about yourself. Imagine that you're looking from around a tree, then all of a sudden a light hits you, and you're like, oh no, and then you're like, oh, and you duck behind the tree. That's exactly what it did. But it was standing outside of it was standing about 3 feet from the tree, and then jumped behind it. And so I'm like, oh my gosh. And then there was one of the guy that we brought out. He had his son with him, his son and his son's best friend, and they were probably about 12 and 13, really cool kids. But he saw it. He's like, oh, and he grabbed my shoulder. He's like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, I saw it. I saw something. So we started walking towards it. Now, the guy we're with, he is a tracker, a hunter. He grew up in those woods. His entire life, he's been in those forests. He's been tracking as a hunter for for forever. And when we got up to the tree, we could hear it kind of running away. But when we came around the tree, there was a little tiny teepee, like a little teepee of sticks, not very high, probably about about my hand size, but they were you could clearly see that they were made into a little teepee, maybe about 4 or 5 little sticks. I'm like, oh my gosh, see, I told you guys there was something here. So as we walked ahead, we saw this giant ball of red light. It almost looked like a tail light of a car, a little bit bigger, but we were pretty deep we were so deep in the forest, it took us almost an hour to drive down this logging road into the forest. And then we had hiked in another like 200-300 feet, and we were facing away from the logging road that was behind us. And we see this light. So I start running towards it. I'm like, hey, excuse me. Hello. We're harmless. Please don't eat me. Hello. Don't shoot me. All of a sudden, it was like my ADHD kicked in again. I looked down and I saw a footprint, and it was like, hello, who's there? Who's that? Oh, squirrel. Right. But really, it was a footprint. It was this little footprint that was down. I'm like, forget about the red light. I mean, half the guys were looking at the red light. I was too busy. So all of a sudden I said, what, guys, this looks like a footprint. And so we shine our flashlights on it sideways. And sure enough, you can see the toes. You know, I'm filming it. We didn't have any plaster, which, I wish. And then after about 15 minutes of looking at it and measuring it and just being in awe that, we found this footprint after seeing eye shine. And then I'm like, oh, where did that red light go? That red, and then it was gone. But we see lights in the forest all the time in different areas that we go to. But that one was crazy. It was just moving nice and slowly through the forest.
So you think there's something to the orbs? The reports of orbs?
I don't know. What I can tell you is I stopped everyone for half a second and said, listen, do you hear that? And we're all looking at the red light. I said, do you hear that? And they're like, no, what do you hear? I said, exactly. That light's moving and there's no sound. Look at me. And I walk backwards and you hear the crunch from the leaves. Mm-hmm. I'm like, we're probably about 100 feet from this red light moving through the forest, and there's not a sound. Mm-hmm. Not a sound. So if someone says, well, it was probably someone with a flashlight, I'm like, well, then that guy, he has like the smoothest stepping in the world.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The question, the answer to that question is, it is strange.
I'm right there with you, man. I don't know what to make of the orbs. You have people, reputable people that swear they see these balls of light, either like yellow, green, red, just floating through the woods. And I mean, what do you do with that? I don't know what to do with that.
That's the first time I've seen a red one. A lot of times they're white.
Yeah.
White or maybe a tint of yellow.
Yeah, those are the colors that I've mainly heard, like white and yellow.
And they just appear out of nowhere, right? They just bam.
Yeah. And then so that was the second time. We had seen it again. And it was the trippiest thing to see. I just got back from Florida and I was investigating the skunk ape. Mm-hmm. And same thing. Saw lights in the swamps. I know people go, well, maybe it's swamp gas. I'm like,
yes,
that's the easiest way out of saying everything. I'm like, hey man, I just got my arm ripped off by an alligator. That's swamp gas. Yeah, I'm bleeding to death.
Yeah, people just try to excuse everything away without like
That
investing.
wasn't a gator. That was swamp gas. Put your arm back and let it go.
I don't need my fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all there. Right?
Rub some dirt on it. Come on, let's go.
Just sit on it. It'll be fun.
Yeah, well, I've never seen so many snakes and turtles,
Oh god.
and the armadillos are crazy. The armadillos, they sound like a herd of elephants running through the forest.
Huh.
It's the craziest thing, something so small.
Yeah.
Like I have to send you searching for Sasquatch 11. It's on YouTube. It's called Into the Lair of the Skunk Ape. And yeah, I filmed the spiders out in Florida, the armadillos that sound like Bigfoot.
You spent some time in Florida.
Twice. I went twice. I went the first time 7 months ago, and then I just got back from Florida.
What part of Florida?
So I landed in Orlando, and it was northeast.
Okay.
It was the Ocala, and I'm about to go in February back to Florida. I'm going to be meeting up with a tracker. He used to be a tracker for the U.S. military for Desert Storm, and he was, an elite tracker for them. And he's retired, and now he tracks these skunk ape creatures, and he says he gets really close to them, but not close enough because they seem to be able to just, he gets within a while, he gets within feet of them or yards, and then they run off. So he's going to bring me in with my camera gear and see if maybe we can get close and I can get some footage. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Awesome. Yeah, very cool.
So awesome.
Let's, if you don't mind, sir, let's jump to some of these questions because you've got a few.
Sure.
All right.
Absolutely.
Rapid fire Q&A. Here we go. My good buddy.
I'm not sure. Next. Oh, sorry.
Troy, my brother from another mother. I'm assuming he's saying, have you ever photographed fish, not haste? Have you ever photographed fish?
Have I photographed fish? Yes. Yeah. A guy hired me. He had piranhas. And it was interesting. Did you know that the smaller the piranha, the more dangerous they are?
Oh, wow.
I know that. Wow.
You would think the bigger the piranha, the bigger the teeth or the tooth.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the more aggressive the piranha is, the tinier it is. Also, if you have one piranha in a tank and you put in a mouse, it'll just go up and maybe take a little nibble, and that's it. You put 2 piranhas in, they might just go up and take a couple bites. You put 3 piranhas into a tank with a mouse, it'll be gone within seconds.
Is that just a competition?
Yeah, it's because of the competition. Hence the word, it was a piranha fest, right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. The guy that hired me to do photos, he had the red bellied, the giant piranhas, and so I actually climbed into the tank, the giant tank, and I had a GoPro. I would go down and try and get shots of him.
You got into a tank with piranha.
Yeah, but there was only 2 of them.
So he was safe.
I was okay. I mean, as long as I didn't cut myself. But it's
so if it's like a school of piranha, you're in trouble.
Maybe. I mean, it depends on their mood.
Go ahead, Wayne. Jump in there, buddy.
Hell no. Way too much of me to eat. They'd be going on for
days.
Yeah. Moving on. Next question is from Risto. Risto is a huge fan of yours. He's been very excited about you coming on. So if you don't mind giving Risto a shout out, that would be cool.
Hey, how are you?
But Risto asks, Jason, what has been your favorite location in the Sasquatch series so far? So
I really enjoyed the the Colorado Rockies. So I believe it's Searching for Sasquatch 7, the Night Stalkers. And that was a lot of fun to film. We actually captured on film creatures stalking us in the night. We did get some howls, but the creatures, catching the eye shine of them, at one spot, and then all of a sudden, another 200 feet up the trail, there they are again, looking at us. So that was a lot of fun. We were like so deep into the Rocky Mountains in Colorado, and the people I were with were amazing. Also, great team.
You got to get to the Smoky Mountains, man.
I would love to.
In Tennessee.
I've been to the small Smoky Mountains, the tiny. What did they call it? They told me what it's called, the small Smoky Mountains. I'm trying to remember where that is.
I'm not familiar with that.
I'm trying to remember where that
I live in Tennessee, and I live in like southeast Tennessee. The Smoky Mountains are kind of north and northeast of me. We've got the Smoky Mountain Conference coming up. Tiffany and I are going to be at here in like 9 days.
9 days. You should come see us.
Oh man, that would be fun.
That would be great.
I'm actually about to drive down to Oregon to the Sasquatch Summerfest.
Yeah,
it's a festival there, and I'm speaking there, and I'm going to go meet everyone.
We need to promote that for any of our viewers that are out on the West Coast. That's awesome.
Yeah. Come say hi.
Yeah, I did put that banner up. So
I saw it.
Also, find out who runs the Smoky Mountain Festival. I'd love to go and speak there.
Yeah, I can put you in touch with them.
I would love to come out there and speak and just come and meet everyone, and what I would love to do is I would come out there, I'd speak at the conference, and I'd like to put together a little team out there and go out into the forest, do a little expedition and film Searching for Sasquatch. I can call it the Smoky Mountain Bigfoot.
Oh my God.
That would be a good one, eh?
There you go.
That would be
hey, you know what? Definitely pass my name on, and we'll see what happens. I mean, you never know. I might see you next year.
I can definitely get you in touch with the people. It's gather up events or something like that. I know Brian has spoken there, and he knows them like really well. So I can get you in touch with them for sure.
I'm also going to be speaking at the Ozark Bigfoot conference. That's coming up.
Are you going to be at the Ozark?
Yeah, I think it's called the Ozark Bigfoot conference. Yeah.
That's where I freaking know you. I'm speaking there.
Oh, what? Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's where I recognize you too. No.
No.
Damn.
Yeah, so I'm actually going out with them afterwards to do a documentary out there in the Ozarks.
Brian is speaking there too.
Is Brian?
Brian King Sharp. Yeah, that's my partner. Oh, well, I guess partner. He runs the company that I work for, but he and I host that Bigfoot podcast together. And he's going to be there speaking. I'm going to be there speaking.
That'll be good. Yeah, that'll be good. Hopefully we're talking about the same one.
We are. Marianne.
Yes.
On.
That's it. Yeah. So anyone that's out there, anyone that's out in the Ozarks in September 19th, is it? No, wait. Is it 21st? No.
Later in the month. I'm not sure.
Anyway, find out if anyone's out that way. You come say hi to all of us. Yeah.
Robert's going to be there too. Robert will be camping with us.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. So you guys are going to be in the documentary anyway, because I'm going to be filming. I'm going to be bringing my equipment. If you want to bring some equipment,
Brian told me about you. He said you were going to be shooting a documentary out there, and it's finally all coming together.
Yeah.
Sorry, I went a little slow.
It's okay. It's okay, But yeah, this is me. This is how I am. I don't change. I'm out just to try and find proof on Bigfoot and have a good time doing it.
Yeah, we'll be speaking together at the Ozark Mountain Conference. What's up, Marianne? Love you.
Marianne, I love you too.
I'm gonna have to get in my little car and just drive myself from Virginia.
Yeah.
Yeah. Troy's going to be there. Troy asked you a question a minute ago. Troy's going to be there. So, man, this is going to be awesome.
Yeah, this is going to be great. I'm very excited now.
We'll be here all night if we don't move on.
Exactly. And hey, if you get picked up by Bigfoot, carried off, I will definitely be filming the whole thing. Be running behind.
It'd have to be a pretty stout Bigfoot, but
It's going to be a great fail.
all right. Alex is asking. He says, "I appreciate your honesty about what you believe, but what you believe you're looking at versus knowing what you were looking at." Well, that's more of a comment. I appreciate your honesty about you believe you were looking at versus knowing what you were looking at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not jumping to conclusions.
Yeah. You know, I had people say to me when I would show the video of the creature behind the bushes, and people would say, well, it's an owl. It's an owl that flew down. And I'm like, if anyone knows anything about birds, so besides ducks and geese, robins, well, birds do not touch the ground. But the only time birds touch the ground is to eat. That's the only time. Yes, geese and ducks will roost on the ground. But other than those, most birds do not touch the ground unless they're eating. The reason for this is everything that eats a bird is on the ground. So birds will not, they'll usually try and stay up high, or they'll be flying or whatnot. So when someone tells me, well, maybe it's an owl, I'm like, so you're telling me that an owl, which is safe up in the air, or up in the top of the branches, will fly closer to the ground, closer to where I could get it? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't. Owls will not do that. Owls will just fly away. They don't get closer because, it was about 7 feet off the ground, and then it ducked down, and now it was probably about 5 feet off the ground. Of course, it was there was a bit of a hill behind the bushes right there. So maybe it just looked like it was 5 feet when really it was probably still, 7 or 8 feet tall.
Yeah. All right. The next question from Troy, you've already answered it, but I'll throw it up here anyway. Have you been to the LBL? Not yet, but we will work that out. Next one. Prospecting USA, hunting America's treasures. Jason, have you been to Alabama?
No, not yet, but I would love to. So I'm actually going to be going after other cryptids.
Okay.
The flying dinosaurs of New Mexico.
The Alabama white thing.
Doesn't Alabama have like the lizard man or something, or
I know what you're talking about. I don't know if that's Alabama. What I was talking about was like a white Sasquatch looking thing. It's called the Alabama white thing.
Really? Yeah. I will be doing that. I'll be doing a documentary on Mothman, a documentary on the Jersey Devil.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm not too fascinated with water monsters like Ogopogo.
Hey, Tiffany, can you take over the questions real quick?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to step away for just a second.
Okay. Okay. So your next question is from Joe Pat. Do you think that they migrate, Sasquatch?
So common sense has it that they probably do migrate. Like any animal, any predator on the planet, usually they move with the animals. So if it gets too cold for any plants to grow, deer will move, and predators that eat deer will move with them, will follow them. Lions do the same thing. Lions will go where the food source is. So imagine a creature that is covered in hair. Can you imagine the creature trying to live a normal, cool life in the heat of California in the midsummer. It doesn't make sense. You'd think they would move to where it's a little cooler, right?
Yeah.
Like to British Columbia, to where the mountains are,
Right. Because
but-
we have a friend of the show, Chad Garcia, and he lives in Bakersfield, California. And their highs have been consistently at 115 degrees.
exactly. So think about that. A
Yeah.
creature that, even even in California, you can climb the tallest mountain at 115. Yeah, it'll get down to 100. So it only makes sense that these creatures would kind of migrate, and not all of them. Just probably ones in British Columbia too, right? They go back and forth between the heat and the snow.
It would make sense. So, hi, Wayne.
Hey, I'm back. Sorry about that, y'all.
Wait, you were gone?
We didn't even know it.
That's how little
Who is
important.
this guy?
All right, your number one fan, Ristel, is
Hey,
asking,
Crystal.
what got you into starting the paranormal series? That's a good question.
So I've always been fascinated with like ghosts and anything that goes bump in the night. And I got something crazy that happened in Kentucky. So we went to this haunted house, and this haunted house where I'm upstairs, and then everyone goes, Jason, come down here. There's a door that opens on command. And, being a skeptic, I'm like, okay, down the stairs. I'm like, oh yeah, there's the door and it's closed. And one of the ladies goes, okay, you can open now. And the door opens on command. I'm like, what the? Wait. And I go up to the door and I look at it. I'm like, well, maybe the house is crooked. So I take the door and I slam it. And I push hard to make sure it's kind of jammed. And I took a step back and I said, okay, you can open the door. And it opened on command. It slide open. I'm like, what the? So I take it and I can slam I put my shoulder into it, made sure that it was just really jammed. And I took a step back. I said, okay, you can open up now. You can open the door up. For crying out loud, it opened the door. The door opened.
No.
So I'm like, okay, hold up a second. I take the door and I take a running start and I slam it shut. I take a step back and I said, now you listen here. Don't open the door again. Don't you dare. Okay, don't you even think about opening the door. And then I took a step back and I said, I'm just kidding. Okay, my bad. Okay, you can open up the door. It did not open. The door did not open. I swear to you, it did not. And I have this all on film.
You fussed at it, and it's like, well, I don't think I want to do that.
I know. It didn't, it was so crazy, but I have it on film. I shoot with a very expensive 4K video camera, cinematic. So filming that with that was just crazy. I was just like, wow, it's still not saying that it was actually, a ghost, but, it was just, but yeah, some of the EVPs I've caught on camera, like in real time. If you watch my Paranormal Adventures, the first one, I had a special guest, fly out from Carolina to come and, be in my Paranormal Adventure documentary. He was a big fan of Searching for Sasquatch, and I don't want to say who it is, but he was on Ghost Hunters International.
Nice.
And, he was also on, well, you name it. He's been on like 14 different TV shows.
Oh,
He was even on Ghost Hunters and Ghost Hunter International. I won't tell you. You have to go and find that documentary and watch it, but you'll recognize him.
It's on Tubi, guys. It's on Tubi.
Yeah, it's on Tubi. Go to Tubi. If you go to Tubi TV and you just put in Jason Kenzie into the search bar, all the documentaries will pop up.
That's awesome. Very cool. Very cool. All right, let's get to our last question. Mr. Ristel, speaking of the LBL, what are your thoughts on the Dogman phenomena? This is a great question.
Mm-hmm.
So I've heard quite a bit about Dogman, and I'm going to be going in September before I go to the Ozarks and filming a documentary on the Dogman. I haven't looked into it too much at the moment, but I am going to interview some eyewitnesses who said that Dogman has actually stood up in front of them and walked across the road. I don't know what to think. I really don't. I mean, I believe maybe some of the encounters may have been a Bigfoot creature.
That's what I think.
Right? I'm trying to remember. Yeah, there's 14 cryptids in North America that walk upright on two legs. So I don't know. I mean, imagine if you're like 10 feet away from the damn creature and you could tell if it was a monkey face or a wolf face.
Yeah.
But it's a hard one. Ask me that question after September, after I do my investigation.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, y'all go to the LBL. That's where a lot of the.
Is that?
Yeah, Martin Groves. If you ever get a chance to listen to Martin Groves, we're going to try and get him on the show. His encounter is, I mean, it's scary.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope we have an encounter. Did you have anything happen when you were there?
No, it was raining the whole damn time, man. We called it Mud Fest because it was miserable. I had a great time hanging out with my good buddy, but other than that, as far as activity and investigating, we couldn't do a whole lot of it. Yeah.
See, that's the thing. I've investigated in like thunder and lightning storms, which is pretty amazing. But for the actual investigating, it's just not as fun, and you don't hear nothing.
Yeah, you can't hear anything except the rain around you.
Exactly. And I don't like investigating next to a stream or a river.
Yeah.
Because of the same thing. You don't hear anything walk up.
Yeah.
And I do love camping.
Oh, yeah.
And having a good time next to a river. I like that sound of falling asleep to one. But when I'm out there literally investigating and hoping that something walks up, I try not to pitch a tent or put our camp one next to a river.
Yeah.
Or a stream.
Yeah. That's very, very smart. All right, Jason, take a couple minutes and tell everybody where they can find your stuff. If you have any events coming up or anything like that, this is your few minutes to promote you.
All right. So, okay, that was good. So I actually have I have a website. It's called searchingforsasquatch.ca. You can go on there and you can see some of the photographs I've taken over the years. Like I said, you can find all my stuff on Tubi, Plex.tv. It's another streaming platform. Amazon Prime Video, you can find it there. It's also on Roku TV, I guess you could say. It's on there. There's a lot of like news. I've been doing a lot of interviews with newspapers and publications. You just Google my name and you'll be able to find like all the interesting stuff that I've done over the years. Like I said, go to YouTube. You can find there's over 400 behind the scenes of my animal adventures for all you people that, like animals. Yeah, that's, there's lots.
Look who you're right beside there, Jason.
Yeah, look at that.
That's me.
Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Dude, I can't wait to meet you in person.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome, man.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I can't wait. The universe just works in mysterious ways.
Yeah. Man, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to come and hang out with us. I feel like this isn't going to be the last time that you hang out with us. You have a standing invitation to come back anytime. We would love to have you.
Thank you so much, guys. And I'm going to say goodbye for now.
Goodbye.
And I will see you guys. I'll see you in Ozarks, and you too. You should drive there.
I should drive there. I should. Thank you for coming on.
All right.
Buddy. Enjoy your evening.
Bye.
Bye. That was so fun.
Yeah,
I love energy is
He does have an
infectious.
energy. Yeah.
Yes, his energy is infectious.
All right, guys. How good was that? That was awesome. I didn't even realize that he and I are going to be speaking at the same event later on. So that's really cool. If y'all can't tell my voice, I'm sick as hell. I'm ready to get out of here. Thank you. Thank you for hanging out with us. Say your goodbyes, Tiffany.
Goodbye. Thank you for coming. I know we were all jacked for this episode, and I think you can all agree that it did not disappoint. Bristol, thank you so much for the donation of $10. And Miss Chris Blaylock, thank you for the $20 donation. Oh, y'all are just the greatest. We say it all the time. Y'all are probably like, y'all are probably like, oh my God, just shut up. No, we're not. So, but yeah, thank you again for everything. And come back and see us on, what is today? Tuesday?
Saturday.
It's Saturday? It's not. It's Tuesday.
Today is Tuesday. Come back and see us on Saturday.
Oh, shit. You got me all messed up. I was like, today ain't Saturday. Yeah, come back and see us Saturday.
All right, guys. Until we talk to y'all again, y'all take care of yourselves. Take care of each other.